All right, Shalom. This is the brother Nahal from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and the sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who will believe in this word, and all truth and its sincerity. Yahweh is the name of the one they ignorantly call God. Yahweh Shai is the name of the one they ignorantly call Jesus. Bahashem is in the name, Rakah is spirit, Kodash is holy, Akyam is brothers, Akwath is sisters. Shalom means peace, and Yashar Allah is Israel in ancient Paleo-Hebrew. All right, now I want to go into a lesson through the spirit inspired by this animated short film. All right, I will start this off with this precept first and foremost. Let's go to Psalm 75. I want to jump down to verse 6. You know what? I'll start up. So let's do Psalm 75 and 4. And it reads, I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked, lift not up the horn. Lift not up your horn on high. Speak not with a stiff neck. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west. Slakia, nor from the west, nor from the south. But Yahweh Shema Shai is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. All right, this is also Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and 8. And it reads, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So I'm going to play this first, all right, and then we'll jump around, Lord willing. But I want to play a few minutes of it first just to get the gist, so you can get the gist of what's going on. All right, and again, it's titled Dinner for a Few. All right, so from here we can see, all right, this is an analogy, if you will, all right, of the wicked in rulership, chiefly Esau Edom, all right, the so-called white man. The system that he's created has allowed his greed to consume everything, all right? And this is an analogy of the elites of the so-called white man and their rulership over not only other nations, but their own people. All right, so let's go here. This is Proverbs 29 and 2. And it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Because another thing you'll notice is the cats. All right. While they're eating, you can hear a sound of the cats, right? And that's going to play out later on in this clip. Let's continue. Hey, and that's an analogy of the people fighting over the crumbs, man. All right. This is why the scriptures say this in Job 20 and 22. And it reads, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. All right. Matter of fact, let's start up. All right. This is Job 20 and 18. And it reads, that which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Now, when you go into this word for wicked, it's amal, all right, amal. And it says the laborer, sufferer, wretched one, laborer, workman, all right. And this goes into prophecy concerning sedition, all right. For those who aren't aware, in the midst of P. Diddy being put on the hot seat, if you will, in the news, there's a talk of a port strike, a strike dealing with the union that is over the workers of the port, all right, which could cause a major disruption concerning the economy. All right, but we know ultimately, according to prophecy, there will be sedition. All right, so what you saw with the cats in this analogy, fighting over those crumbs, all right, is the laborers. All right now, the scriptures talk about as iniquity abound, the love of many shall wax cold, and you're seeing that. But eventually, these people are going to turn their frustration on their kings and their princes. All right, let's go to that. This is Second Esdras, chapter 15. I'm going to jump down to 14. And it reads, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right, so this parable, from what we can already gather, is the elite. All right, even this guy with this is likened unto the Pope, but it's the elites of Esau, Edom, the elites of the society, and them feasting. All right, and then the very common people, all right, are likened unto the cats, who are continuing, to basically howl as this whole parable is going on. You can hear the cats howling, and that's what this society is doing. You go all over TikTok and Instagram, and all you notice is people complaining, rightfully so. As the living conditions get worse and worse, as inflation drives the prices up, and it's harder to maintain a lifestyle or a family in this society. All right, and that's all really orchestrated by these elites to force a new form of currency. But it all goes back to prophecy. All right, so let's continue. And see, Esau, I could tell it was probably written by Edomite, because they try to use the white and black cats as an analogy for basically racism, right? But ultimately, we know according to history that there was a point in time where these regular Edomites were able to have a certain privilege that you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans didn't have. And when that was the case, they didn't care about your condition. It's only now that these regular Edomites, who are likened unto these white cats, it's only now that they're on the bottom that it becomes an issue. And now we all need to stick together. And brothers have done beautiful lessons on that previously. But this is beautiful through the spirit, because again, the Lord said it first. All of these things ultimately go back to the mind of the Heavenly Father. But it's cool to see something that that's animated, that goes back to the Lord, man. And you can see Esau's narrative, the whole we should all stick together and fight against the elites. And ultimately, a lot of Jakes are going to succumb to that. They're going to be seduced by that narrative, and they're going to ultimately be destroyed. While the will of the Lord is to destroy this table and set up a new one in the presence of our enemies. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Now, this is spiritual, right? Because ultimately, Esau is bound by fate. You know, this rulership is ultimately a prison, you know, for Esau, because he's going to be judged for what he's done. You know, we just read that in Job about the restitution being returned, and ultimately Esau is a prison to that judgment. You know, the scriptures. Let's go here. This is Job 14:5, and it reads, "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass." And when you go into the Hebrew word for bounds, it's chak, and it says statute, ordinance, limit, something prescribed, do, says prescribed task, prescribed portion, action prescribed for oneself, resolve, prescribed do, prescribed limit, boundary, enactment, decree, ordinance, specific, decree, law in general, enactment, statutes, conditions, enactments, degrees, civil enactments prescribed by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, so Esau is bound by that. All right, his rulership has an expiration date, and this is why he's on a war path to upset prophecy. But you can't get around the judgments of the Heavenly Father. So in a sense, while he's able to eat voluptuously, if you will, in his rulership, he's still bound by a chain because he's still subject to prophecy as well. All right, he's not exempt from prophecy, and that's why it's beautiful when you look at this whole animation, because it really goes back to the scriptures. You know, of course, you have to spit out the bones, all right, and eat the meat. But this is beautiful because ultimately Esau's rulership is a prison unto him. You know, it's a snare unto him, whether he understands that or not. It was a snare because now the deed has been done. All right, and there's nothing he can do to get out of that. All right, matter of fact, I want to see if I can grab this really quick. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. All right. Now it says better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, because ultimately, as a nation of people, the Lord has set us up to win at the end. While Esau has had a temporary rulership, but his latter end is that he's going to perish forever. All right. As a matter of fact, let's go here to Ecclesiastes 11. I'm going to jump down to verse 25. All right. And it reads, in the day of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. And in the day of affliction, there's no remembrance of prosperity. All right. So the tables are going to turn on Esau. And then there's going to be no remembrance of the good times he had, because the affliction is going to outweigh whatever benefit he had on this side, man. All right. And that's the beauty of it. And it's not going to be a private affair. It's going to be public. All right. His reign, his rulership was public. His fall is going to be public. His judgment and his consequences are also going to be public. And that's why that's the irony of it, right? Because when you look at this video, nobody can see the chains. It's under the table. So if you're just looking at the table itself, it looks like they're in a great position. All right, that goes into Psalms, the 73rd chapter. But when you look behind that curtain, what do you see? That they're ultimately trapped and bound by the wickedness that they've done to get where they are. All right, I'll just grab this real quick. This is Psalm 73, and I'll start at 1. Truly, Yahweh Shema Shai is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. And it's beautiful, right? Because the Lord set us up as a nation to win at the end of this, but we got to catch hell on the way there. And while it seems tough in the moment, when you zoom out, the Lord is ultimately setting us up for an eternal victory. Whereas with the wicked, the Lord has allowed them to win in the eyes of most people temporarily, with the cost outweighing that benefit. It's a snare. All right. Verse 2 reads, but as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. And that's most jakes. Most jakes can only see the table. You know, most jakes can only see the table. So they're looking at Esau eating. They're like, man, he got potatoes. He got, he got that chicken. Damn, he ain't even finished the corn. I could have smacked that real quick. He still got steak. He got the wine. So Jake is seeing that, and they like, man, they winning. We got to be like them. We got to get real estate. We got to get, CDLs. We got to get generational wealth, because they think that they could somehow work their way up to this seat. What you notice about this analogy as well is that you have the ones that are able to sit at the table, and then you have the white cats who are on the bottom, and they can't sit at that table because there is a difference between money and access. All right, so most of our people, they only see the spread. They see how the table look, all the food, how everybody eating. They see in the table, and they don't realize that underneath that table, it's change, man. Esau's bound. All right, and the world is going to witness this, but Esau is bound by this judgment. All right, this is why, man, called like now by Shemal Shai. I'm going to continue here. It says, I'm going to jump down because I'll come back to this. Let's jump down to verse 20. Psalm 73 and 20. As you know what? Verse 17 reads, until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh Shemal Shai, then understood I their end. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down into destruction. How are they brought into desolation? As in a moment, they are utterly consumed with terrors. As a dream when one awaketh, so, O Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. Because the world is going to see them for who they are, man. Because this is who they are. All right, they shape them like pigs because of the greed. And that's what Esau is. He's greedy. Now, he has enough resources to spread them out properly, but he won't, because his heart, his desires as hell and is as death, and he cannot be satisfied. All right, so let's continue. You know, a spiritual too is that the one that noticed that they in chains is a black cat, right? Because the Lord said we will stand on our feet in an exceeding great army. And the Lord also said this in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter and the 1st verse. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And that's spiritual. It's almost like, without even trying, they're showing that this is almost like Jake waking up. Because beginning with our apostles and elders, brothers see that Esau, he's chained. He's a base man. And no matter how much he has, at the end of the day, he has to meet his judgment, his fate. And that's why it's spiritual that they have the black cat find it out. All right. So let's continue. Now, another thing that you notice is that he's basically taking all the resources, all right, and it's turning into food, all right, which is basically what Esau's been doing across the planet through corporations, all right, through hostile takeovers. He's been consuming all the resources. All right, real quick, is Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And when you read this in the NLT, it says, wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest. They open their mouths as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many peoples. All right, let's continue. And that goes into those distractions. All right. Whether it's chasing money, all right, the idea of voting, all of these things are distractions to keep you away from the main issue. And while Esau think he's getting away with this, ultimately the Lord is watching him, like we're watching this animation. The Lord is seeing his ways. You know, he think that he's hid from the counsel of the Lord, man. You can't hide from the Lord. And though you can deceive the people of the world, you can't deceive Yahweh Shema Shai. And that's why it's spiritual that the Lord has this truth in men who are not perceived to be wise according to the standard of this world. Because the elites know. All right, this is Isaiah 13:1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. Also, Ecclesiastes chapter 12:1, it says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. Because that's coming, man. All right, that's coming. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. And this is gonna happen, man, according to the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. Even though Esau believes, you know, concerning these elites, they believe that they're orchestrating this whole thing. Ultimately, it goes back to the Lord. But there's gonna come a time where they're gonna lose control of the ship. Right now, they think that they have control. So when they do this controlled demolition of taking the society down and forcing people into a new currency, they think that that was their thought, that that was their intention, that they're in control. But they're going to find out they're not in control, man. All right, so let's continue. Now, real quick, what you notice, right, is that he's moving through the house. And as he's moving through the house, the drapes on the wall is coming off, the furniture, everything. And this is why the Lord is ultimately going to have to step in. Because if not, you wouldn't have anything to sell, to save, man. It wouldn't be anything to salvage. All right, let's go here real quick before we continue. This is Matthew chapter 24 and 22. And the reason, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. All right, so I want to go through this through the Spirit. If you want to, you can go through the whole thing. All right, it's spiritual because, again, it highlights what's happening right now in the earth. And I'll save the end of it for those who want to go and continue to watch it. But I just wanted to point this out because I found it through the Spirit. And again, everything we see concerning prophecy is the Lord translating the kingdom from one people to another. Kingdoms rise and fall, as we read in Psalms, the 75th chapter. Promotion doesn't come from the east or the west, it comes from the Lord. And ultimately, this is exposing Esau for being greedy, man. All right, the world we live in is a testament that this man is greedy. All right, and that's why he has to be removed. All right, this is Proverbs chapter 30 and 21. And it reads, "For 3 things the earth is disquieted, and for 4 which it cannot bear. For a servant when he reigneth, and a fool when he is filled with meat." All right, when you read this in the NLT, it says, "A slave who becomes a king, an overbearing fool who prospers." And Esau is both. He's both the basis of men and the children of fools. And the rulership is a testament to that. All right, so again, this is the title of the video. Again, if you watch the whole thing, you have to eat the meat and spit out the bones, but it's spiritual. All right. Matter of fact, I'm going to play the last few bits of it, and I just won't add anything, Lord willing. Yo, you can. Now, even though it's a tiger, and I said I wasn't going to do this, but even though it's a tiger, I want to bring this out. This is our second Ezra chapter 12, and I want to start at Let's start at 29. And the reason, whereas thou sawest two feathers under the wings passing over the head that is on the right side, it signifieth that these are they whom the highest hath kept unto their end. This is the small kingdom and full of trouble, as thou sawest. All right, now this was going into the Roman Empire. All right, the ancient Roman Empire, the 12 feathers dealing with the 12 Caesars. All right, now let's continue at verse 31. And it reads, And the lion whom thou sawest rising up out of the wood, and roaring and speaking to the eagle, and rebuking her for her unrighteousness, with all the words which thou hast heard. This is the anointed which the highest hath kept for them, and for their wickedness unto the end. He shall reprove them, and shall upbraid them with their cruelty. For he shall set them before him alive in judgment, and shall rebuke them and correct them. All right. And we now live in the revived Roman Empire. All right. So when you deal with the verses above this, those 12 feathers, all right, are going into the ancient Roman Empire, but we now live in the revived Roman Empire. And I just wanted to bring this out because that lion, is kind of likened unto what I see in this animation dealing with the tiger. All right. So this was really the point on this one. If you want to continue to watch it, you can through the spirit, but that was the meat of it. All right, so with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and the sincere salutations to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.